Hi, this section is 6.7 and we're going to be talking about simple interest. Interest is money paid or earned for the use of money. So for instance, if you borrow money from a bank, they're going to charge you interest for borrowing that money. And usually it's a percentage rate of what you borrow, and you have to pay back what you borrowed plus interest. So whatever else that percentage rate equals. Likewise, if you put money into a bank account, a savings account, you will earn interest on that money just for keeping it in your savings account. The principal is the amount of money borrowed or how much you deposit into your account. So there's a formula to find simple interest. It's I equals PRT. I always say PERT, but and PERT stands for different things. So the I equals simple interest, so I interest. P is the principal, that's how much you're borrowing or how much you're going to be putting into, like, for example, your savings account. Your R is your rate or your interest rate, and that has to be in decimal form. And then your T is time, which is calculated in years. So if it says 6 months, then you have to put like 0.5 because that's half a year. And then usually though you'll get 3 out of these 4 pieces of information, and you have to plug them into the equation and then solve for whatever you're missing. So we'll see how this goes. Here, let's look at example 1. Finding interest earned. So you put $500 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. What is the interest earned after 3 years? What is the balance after 3 years? So you always are going to start with your equation. Sorry about that. So I equals PRT. Then you're going to plug in the information that you know. You are putting in $500. That's your principal. So that's going to go where the P is. You know that it's 3% interest. So 3%, you have to write that as a decimal. So 0.03. And you know it's for 3 years. So 3. It's already in years. So then you just multiply those 3 numbers together and you get 45. So the interest you will earn in those 3 years on that $500 is $45. Letter B is the balance. Then you would add your $45 to your 500, and so your balance in that account, if you don't touch it, would be $545. Number 2, finding an annual interest rate. So this one is you put $1,000 in an account. The account earns $100 simple interest in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? So this one, you know that you earn $100 interest. So your 100 is going to go where your I is. You know that you're putting $1,000 into your account. That's your principal. You don't know what the rate is, so that's R. And you know it's for 4 years, so the 4 goes here. So combine what you can on this right side of your equation. You can take your 4 times your 1,000 to get 4,000 R. So 100 equals 4,000 R, and then you want to divide both sides by 4,000 to get R by itself. So you get 0.025, and then when you convert that to a percent, remember you move your decimal point over 2 spots, so you get 2.5%. So let's try a couple here. They don't give us a lot of room to show this, so we'll do our best here. In example 1, what is the balance of the account after 9 months? So let's go up here. So instead of 3 years, they want us to do 9 months. So we're going to plug what we know. So we're still going to do I equals, we still are using $500. We are still using a 3% interest rate, so it's still going to be, I'm just going to put a dot for multiply, 0.03. And instead of 3 years, we're going to be doing 9 months. So 9 months out of 12 months in a year, we can reduce that. If we divide both by 3, we would get 3/4. So It'd be 3/4 of a year, but remember we have to convert that over to a decimal. So if you don't know what 3/4 is a decimal, you want to take your top number and divide it by your bottom. So take 3 divided by 4. And when you do that, you should get 0.75. Now, we have our 3 pieces of information. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply those numbers together. So we're going to take 500 times 0.03 times 0.75. And when we do that, we get interest of $11.25. They want to know the balance. So if I add that to the $500 I put in originally, my balance would be $511.25. Okay, so that should be your answer for number 1. Number 2, you put $350 in an account. The account earns $17.50 simple interest in 2.5 years. What is the annual interest rate? All right, so we're going to go ahead and, again, start with our equation. I'm going to try it. Oh, I'm struggling at finding room. Maybe I'll back up here, and we'll just do it right here. I equals PRT. So we know that we're going to put $350 in an account. So that's going to be my P. And then we know that it's going to earn $17.50 interest. So that's going to go for my I. Put the equal sign in there. And then we know that it's 2.5 years. So we don't know the R. We know it's 2.5. So I'm going to multiply what I can on the right side. So I'll get 1750 equals, and I'm going to take 350 times 2.5, and that gives me 875R. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 875. So 1750 divided by 875, and I get 0.02 equals R. So I need to convert that over to a percent. So I move my decimal point over 2 spots. So I get 2. So my interest rate would be 2%. Sometimes you'll get like 2.5%. But that one came out as 2. So that's good. Okay, finding an amount of time. So a bank offers 3 savings accounts. The simple interest rate is determined by the principal. How long does it take an account with a principal of $800 to earn $100 in interest? So again, start with your equation. I equals PERT. $800. So it looks like we are in the middle one between 500 and 5,000. So we want an interest of 100. So 100 equals 800 is your principal, and it's 2%. So times 2%. And we want to know how long that is, so we don't know the T. So we're going to multiply 800 times 0.02. We get 16T, divide both sides by 16, and it comes out to be 6.25 years. Okay. So again, still solving things the same way. We're just plugging in what we know. And the last one, finding an amount paid on a loan. You borrow $600 to buy a violin. The simple interest rate is 15%. You pay off the loan after 5 years. How much do you pay for the loan? So you plug in what you know, $600 at 0.15% and 5. So you're going to multiply all those together and you get 450. So you are going to add the 600 that you put in that you borrowed plus the 450 that you paid in interest, and you have $1,050 for the loan. All right, so let's do 3 and 4. Ooh, there's the answers down there. We won't look at those right now. Number 3, we'll check them though. In example 3, how long does it take an account with the principal of $10,000 to earn $750 in interest? Okay, so we know that in example 3, we're going to go back up. So 10,000. So we're going to do the same thing, 10,000. So up here, more than 5,000, it's 3%. So I equals PERT. So our interest, it says, sorry to have to go back and forth, interest 750. Our principal, I believe, was 10,000, but I'm going to double check. 10,000. And 2%, or I'm sorry, 3%, so times 0.03 times t. We don't know. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to have 750 equals, I'm going to take 10,000 times 0.03, and I get 300. And t, because I don't know the time. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 300. And the time would be 2.5 years. So there's number 3. And then finally, number 4. What if, in example 4, you pay off the loan after 2 years? How much money do you save? Okay, so here it says that you're going to do it in 5 years, but what if you only do it in 2? So we're going to do this exact same equation, except instead of 5, we're going to do 2. So I'm going to do that over here. So I equals 600 times 0.15 times 2. So 600 times 0.15 times 2. So when you do that, then your interest is only $180. So if I add that to my 600 plus my 180, I get 780. It wants to know how much do you save. So then I would take my 1,050 and subtract, that's a 0, subtract my 780. So 1050 minus 780, and I get $270, which is a pretty good saving. So lesson learned, if you can pay something off with interest sooner, you're actually going to be paying less money for it. Okay? All right, so there you go. Go ahead and try practice sheet 6.7 practice A, and there should be a key there for you to check your answers.